Hello everybody. So today in this video we are going to discuss details about allyl type nucleophile. So the word type is very important. So let us discuss about what I want to say here. So allyl nucleophile, all of you know, is an allyl group with there's a carbon, a sp3 carbon next to a double bond, okay, alkene. So if you put a negative charge on this sp3 carbon, you get this carbon ion will be in conjugation with this double bond, and you get a allyl nucleophile. But if you just replace this CH2 with a divalent, like you take a oxygen, okay, so what will happen? So what happened actually, you get a another nucleophile. You know what is this? It's a enolate nucleophile. So enolate nucleophile, we have just replaced carbon with a oxygen. In a similar way, if you replace this carbon with a NHPG, you get the enamine. So these three nucleophile, which is very common in organic synthesis, in organic chemistry, many of you have studied several reactions. So we can really study them in a club way. So we can study them, their reactivity and reactions in a combined way. So let us take one example. So this is allyl Grignard reagent. So we put the magnesium chloride here, and because you need a counter cation to stabilize this anion. So this is allyl Grignard reagent. We can also have magnesium enolate, and also we can have magnesium enamine. So these are the three nucleophile we have. We are going to study their reaction with the electrophile C11X. Actually, double bond, polarized double bond. It's not C double bond C, polarized double bond, like carbonyl, which include aldehyde and ketone, also imine. So we can react all three with either carbonyl or imine. So this is the reaction. These are the reaction here what we are going to learn uh, in this video. Actually, if you look at this product and you can do this disconnection, actually you can break it here, and this can come here, and you can get this minus. So you get this type of nucleophile and this electrophile. If you take the electrophile in this axis here, electrophile X equal to oxygen is carbonyl, and NPG is your imine. In this axis, you can take a allyl Grignard CH2, actually Y equal to CH2, Y equal to oxygen, it is your enolate, and NPG2 here you get this enamine addition. So if you combine them, we can get a 2 by 3 matrix, okay, and total 6 types of product can be obtained. And the interestingly, you will see that these reactions are not really difficult to learn. In a one slide, I'll try to explain how nicely this can be. You can remember. So first you are adding a allyl Grignard, let's say CH2, okay, to carbonyl. What product we get? You can get the branch product or linear product. In the branch product, because you have a two chiral center, there are two diastereoisomer possible. One is syn, where R2 and OH are the syn to each other, or anti, so R2 and OH are anti. So here we have a two diastereoisomer, so total 4 isomers are possible. Okay, so how you can make all 4 in a enantiomerically pure form? That's a very interesting problem you can take. Also, the reaction can also occur through a least hindered site, and you can get the linear product. Okay, so only one chiral center. So our major focus will be on this branch type of product. So this is your homoallylic amine you are getting. Now you can add also this allyl Grignard reagent to imine to get this homoallylic amine. Also linear and branch both are possible. So, but I am mostly focusing on the branch type of product. Also, at the same time, you can add the enolate, right? When Y equal to oxygen, and the enolate can be added to the carbonyl. So you know this is famous aldol reaction, and also you can get a syn or anti-product. Same way you can add to this imine, you know this reaction called Mannich reaction. So we are learning so many reactions in a simple way. Also, you can take enamine as a nucleophile, adding to a aldehyde, you get a beta hydroxyimine, and imine can be converted to several other groups. Like you can add another nucleophile here, you can reduce it to get amine. So many things we can do. At the same time, you can also add to a imine, this enamine, you get this beta amino imine in a numerically pure form, which can be again converted to get this 1,3 chiral diamine, which is very important building block. So all these products are very interesting and highly valuable building block. If you have to, you have to get this product in a stereoisomerically and enantiomerically pure form to synthesize several natural products, active pharmaceutical ingredients, drugs, all these molecules. So we'll study at least selective way how we can make them, how it is reported. So this is again the general reactions. So Y equal to can be CH2NRO as I discussed earlier. The product you get, you can predict, okay, using a transition state or a model, famous model known as Zimmermann-Traxler model. If you take a E-alkene here actually, okay, an E-alkene, for this E-alkene here, it can be enamide or it can be enolate or allyl Grignard, but I am talking about this D-Zol bond. So this E geometry will attack to this carbonyl compound and you get this E give you the antiproduct. Okay. So alkyl geometry decides stereochemistry at the alpha. Alpha means here. If you take E, you get something. If you get J, you get others. Let's say you get this E here. Here R is up, and here you get the Z alkene. You get the syn product. Where R is down. You may say why OH is down here. So I'll discuss this thing later on. Okay. So not now. Another important factor, as I told you, mentioned, E enolate give you anti-aldol product, Z enolate give you the syn aldol product. What are the difference between the carbonyl and imine as a electrophile? This is very important point. Please remember, carbonyl has two lone pair, so it has a luxury to it can coordinate either through this lone pair or the other one. Depends on in the transition state which one give them a better or a less energetic transition state. So more stable transition state. Okay, in the transition state. At the same time, for the imine, it has no luxury. It has only one lone pair. So it has to correlate to this only. And another important point, imine has, which carbon doesn't have. It can be E or Z. So this both geometry are possible. So this is also, when you do the reaction, this factor you please keep in mind. So the imine geometry, which is important, at the same time the alkyl geometry for this nucleophile. And the reaction goes by a 6-member chair-like transition state, which is famously known as Zimmermann-Traxler model. So via this transition state, you can really predict the stereochemistry selectivity. Okay, and when you draw this type of transition state, okay, let's say you have this nucleophile M, Y, and double bond. We started for this side, our left-hand side. Here you have the E alkene and the carbonyl also react. So new red dotted bond means this new dotted bond, new bond are forming, and this is coordinating to the metal. Actually, metal here or a let's say boron or a silicon. So this actually coordinate intramolecularly with the carbonyl group. So it is acting as a Lewis acid. When it acts as a Lewis acid, you know, if you take a Lewis acid, it lower the carbonyl pi star orbital. Okay, energy of the carbonyl pi star will be lower, so it can much readily undergo overlap with this nucleophile. Okay, so that's the way also it also activates this bond. Not only it help to form a associative transition state, which is known again. I mentioned earlier Zimmermann-Traxler model. Okay, so now carbonyl case, the large alkyl group and small alkyl group, which one want to be in the axial and equatorial position? Obviously, the large group like to be in the equatorial position. You know, in cyclohexane, this is the most stable one. Okay, if you put in axial, because of 1,3 diaxial type of interaction, so a large group doesn't like it, so small group will take this. For aldehyde, it will be hydrogen, this RS. So this will give you the low energy transition state, and that will be your major product, which is antiproduct. At the same time, when RL, the large group, comes to the axial position, it will be high energy transition state, it will be least stable and give you the minor syn product. In a similar fashion, you take the Z alkene, the right hand side, this side, and here again the similar type of transition state we have drawn. Only thing, R group here comes to the axial position because of this Z geometry. It has no choice, it's fixed. It's locked actually in this geometry. It cannot go to the equatorial here, which is equatorial here for this E alkene. So these give you the low energy transition state when R is in the axial position to minimize the 1,3 diaxial interaction, and RL in the equatorial position. That will be the most stable transition state, and that give you the major product. And in a similar way, the minor product will be anti. Okay. So basically, you can check hints here. This R group, when it is in the axia, the alkyl geometry actually forces to axial position. Here R is down for this type of enantiomer transition state, and when R in the equatorial, it is up. So again, I am saying for these two chiral center, alpha center is controlled by alkyl geometry, and beta center will be controlled by either auxiliary or the chiral catalyst, which I will discuss later on. Now, with this slide, what I want to show you, we have to study all these reactions in a very general way. Okay, we don't want to study individually. There are enormous reports, so if you want to study them, it will take several hours. But you don't need to. First, let us discuss about the concept. So you can do this electrophile and nucleophile. Now, two way you can achieve the enantiomer selectivity. Two way you can make them chiral. Do this reaction in asymmetric fashion. So first we are going to discuss about the auxiliary based chemistry. So auxiliary is what? You are putting a chiral group, okay, which will be determining the diastereoselectivity of the reaction. So for the electrophile, you can have two electrophile. One is the carbonyl, one is the imine. So in imine case, you have a protecting group. You can take this protecting group itself as a chiral, and that can direct your addition. So the what can be the there are several auxiliary known. Okay, I have drawn only one, which is very famous actually. It's called sulfinyl imine. So this is chiral sulfoxide. So this direct addition of nucleophile very efficiently. Okay, but for oxygen, can you put a chiral protecting group here? If I ask you this question, obviously the answer will be yes, you can put in situ, but don't make it and then do the reaction because the oxonium cation will be very unstable. So this type of reaction mostly done with the catalysis. Okay. So oxonium cation introduction of chiral auxiliary on oxygen difficult. So asymmetric catalysis mostly studied. So we'll discuss asymmetric catalysis with this carbonyl addition. So now you have this. So you can add a achiral enolate and achiral Grignard reagent, or even a boronic acid you can think of. Can we? Let's say this is boronate ester actually. Can it be added? For this, not known, but it can be for other possible. So for other chiral protecting. Okay. So overall, you have achiral nucleophile and chiral electrophile that give you the product. This product, the required product, may enantiomerically pure form. At the same time, you can take the achiral electrophiles like aldehyde, ketone, imine, and you can choose a chiral nucleophile like your Rouse, this boronate ester. There are several, Professor Rouse, Brown, Corey. There are several boronate ester are known, which has been reported for the asymmetric allylation. Also, we can do the aldol type of reaction using one of the very famous auxiliary is the Evans. Because for the ester, you can introduce this actually as a protecting group. This is actually understand amide, right? So you can easily put it here and then you can remove it. So that's the way Evan auxiliary can you work with the ester or acid actually, acid chloride you can put it here. At the same time, we can deprotonate and we can get this magnesium enamine to get this type of chiral enamine, which will be again controlled by this sulfoxide. So these are the three chiral nucleophiles we are going to discuss for our reaction, and I'll come back with another video for details. Thank you.